Just when you thought we were done covering the 2025 Honda Civic Si, we're back for our third and probably final take on this car. But today, Emily and I are going to Chicago, so we're finally doing probably the most requested take on this new facelifted Civic Si, and that is the road trip test, the most important, and the test that I would say at this point, are very certified, or yeah. Anyways, if you're still somehow unfamiliar with this car, we'll give you a little bit of a breakdown on what's new for 2025 and also what remains. So the Civic Si is the kind of mid-grade hot level of the Honda Civic, sits above the Sport but below the Type R. Still under the hood, the turbocharged 1.5 liter four-cylinder engine, 200 horsepower, 192 pound-feet of torque. We still have a 6-speed manual, it's still front-wheel drive, and we still have that Helical front limited slip diff. But for 2025, they have done a couple of key changes to actually make this more livable and more daily drivable, which should help us on our road trip today. First change, not necessarily making the car a better daily driver, but we do have these brand new wheels which say SI on them. These are no longer the same wheel that you get on the Civic Sport. These 18-inch wheels are bespoke to the SI. We also have a new front bumper, a new grille, we have tinted taillights, but the majority of the upgrades lie in the interior, which we will show you shortly. We're also one of the Savage Geese with us today. I can't tell if it's Mark or Jack, but he's over there watching over us, making sure we do our intro properly. This car is finished in
Urban Gray.
Urban Gray Pearl. It's a new color for 2025, and Honda's press fleet is plagued with cars in this color, of course, including the Civic Si that we're driving today. So why are we going to Chicago? Well, we are going to see one of our favorite bands, Chase Atlantic, and they actually just played in Detroit last night, but we decided to go to the Chicago show. I don't know why we decided that, but anyways, it gives us an excuse to road trip a car, and a good one at that. So let's poke around this new Civic. Beautiful fall breeze, beautiful fall trees, the sun is out. Anyways, let's take a look at our trunk space here. We're only going for one night, so we aren't really able to take advantage of this pretty usable trunk. We've got my suitcase, my camera bag, Emily's backpack, and Emily's boots over there taking up a little corner of the trunk, but I mean, you could probably fit 4 of these day bags in here, which means you could travel somewhere for a night or two with 3 other adults. And then, let's see, do we have anything under the trunk floor? We don't. We do have a couple little cubbies for smaller things, which I think your boots could actually even fit under here. We won't leave them here because we'll forget them, but they do fit. Check that out.
Nice.
Look at that. Should we leave them there, or do you think we'll forget them?
I think we'll forget them.
We will take them back out. Okay. We don't want to gift Honda a pair of your boots.
They're just from Walmart, so they're not that special.
Are they really from Walmart? Nice. Seats go down as well, so if you're hauling something large, or if you and your significant other or friend or whatever want to take a longer trip, you could use that extra space as well. Tinted taillights, like I mentioned. We have this little lip spoiler on the trunk. Let's take a look at seat space in the back seat space rather. Where the Honda Civic has gotten large. As we know, the 11th gen Civic is pretty big at this point, and it means that back seat space is excellent. Enough to where, sat behind myself at 5'11", I mean, I've got this much leg room behind myself. I've got enough headroom. We also get this little fold down console here with some cup holders. However, since this is still just a Honda Civic, we don't really have anything else back here. I have no seat back pocket, and we don't get air vents, HVAC, anything back here. We don't even have any USB ports, so you may want to think ahead and bring a wireless charger if you're riding in the back of a Honda Civic on a road trip. But I think the actual seat back here is pretty cozy. One thing I don't super love that Honda does is they don't really bring the trimmings of the front seats to the back with their hot compacts. The Civic Si, Civic Type R, they both have really exquisite front seats, but then they don't extend the love to the back seats. They do at least give you some red stitching back here, and it's kind of the classic Honda way. They've kind of always done this from the 80s, the 90s, and so on. So I guess we'll give them a little bit of a pass on this, but the back seat isn't necessarily the focus, though you do have a lot of room if you have to ride back there. Pop the hood and take a look at this 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. Oh, he's in the road now.
He's making moves. I think he's hurt.
Hopefully he can migrate when it's time. Here is our 1.5 liter, again, 200 horsepower, 192 pound-feet of torque. But the thing I am most looking forward to about this powertrain is the 37 mpg that this is rated for on the highway. So we'll have to see. We're going to stop and top up the tank. I think I'm only like 3 gallons down because I've only been driving this for about a day this time. Okay. Well, today for tires, you're running on a set of Goodyear Eagle F1s. This is kind of your only choice to option apart from your exterior color. On the Civic Si, they'll either sell you these or a set of all seasons. So today we're on the high performance tires. These aren't necessarily going to be great for our MPG. If we're running on the all seasons, we probably would get a little bit better, and they're also not going to be great for our noise level. I have obviously driven on these tires and they aren't the worst in the world, but I haven't spent extended time on the highway driving with them, so we'll have to see how they are today. As far as NVH overall, the 11th gen Civic has been updated a bit. They've added some sound deadening in here, but the SI hasn't gotten all of the upgrades that the Sport Touring has, so it may be just a bit louder still. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump in and we will go ahead and get on the road and see what this new Civic is like to road trip. The final test. These are what we have for seats. Pretty much the same seats that we had in the pre-facelift car. I think they look excellent. I like the molded headrests. I like the kind of like checkered pattern in here. But the key difference with these now is that they are heated, which we'll be able to see once we start the car, as the Canadian spec has had since the beginning, but we've got things now in here like heated seats, we've got a new infotainment, and a new gauge cluster. So let's go ahead and start this thing up, and we'll go. Didn't want to interrupt the car, and then we'll hit the road, yes. So in front of us, we have the gauge cluster from the Civic Type R with shift lights. That is excellent. And then we also have this 9-inch Google-based infotainment system, which the infotainment in the Civic was okay before, but this is definitely a worthy upgrade. We've got Google Maps built in. Everything works really quick. And a good infotainment is key to having an enjoyable road trip. We just got out of the Subaru WRX TS, which has one of the worst infotainments out of any car. Subaru is really, really lagging behind, so it was very refreshing to get into this Honda and be able to actually work the infotainment with no problems. I'm actually going to turn my heated seat off because it is quite warm in here at this point. We've got automatic climate control with knobs that are very satisfying to push. 2 USB-C ports, those are new for 2025. We still have our drive modes, sport, normal, and individual. Our 6-speed manual is unchanged. I think that's just about it. We have a Bose 12-speaker sound system. We had that in the pre-facelift car as well, but it's a pretty good system. We'll give you guys a test on that later. We've got a moonroof, and, well, this car, as tested today, is just about $31,000. Like I mentioned, the only real option they give you is exterior color and your tires. If it were up to me, I don't think I'd go for Urban Gray Pearl because I'm tired of it, but they do offer, I think, the only other color is red. I think it's gray, white, black, and red.
Oh, I matched the interior.
You do? Who are you repping today?
Downshift.
Downshift.
Shout out
Matt.
Carlo.
I'm not going to send this to them, but if they're watching, I hope they comment if they've made it 9 minutes into our Honda Civic road trip.
Yeah.
Cool. So our first stop is going to be the fuel station, but then we're going to go to Raising Cane's because they just put one in Michigan City, which we drive right by.
In 2 hours. 3 hours.
In 2 hours, yeah. So a little bit of a late lunch stop.
Oh, please don't.
Okay. All right, say goodbye to Savage Geese.
Bye. Honk, honk. Oh, that one just took a dump.
As a city car, the Civic Si does the thing. It's easy to drive. The steering's got a pretty good heft to it, but everything else is very light, including the clutch. After getting out of the Subaru WRX, I got into this, and my foot just went to the floor because of how light the clutch is in this car. Not a super defined grab point either in this. You kind of have to listen to that engine and get a feel for this car because you don't super feel it through your left foot, but you get used to it. Love this 6-speed shifter in here. Honda usually gets their shifters just right. It's not quite as nice as the shifter in the Type R, but it's still nice and precise. I'm kind of looking forward to how these seats fare because there is really not a lot of adjustability. They're manual seats through and through. We don't have any lumbar adjustments, no crank wheels or anything like that. So we'll have to see how they hold up. We do have an auto rev matching system in the Civic Si. Most new manual cars, if they're performance oriented whatsoever at this point, have an auto blip system, except the Subaru WRX. So kind of a big change, I suppose, in the correct direction. And I'm glad that I drove that car earlier this week to give myself a little bit of a comparison. I think this pump has race fuel.
It does.
It does. Should we put some 110? It's $10 a gallon.
Holy moly. 110.
110, baby.
Wow.
Let's put some fuel in this. I'm deciding if I want to put 87 or 93 because I don't think this requires 93. And we're just going to be on the highway.
Yeah.
So I'm probably just going to toss some 87 in this. And we'll see how it does. So it looks like 91 is recommended, but 87 minimum. So I think since we're just going to be rolling on the highway, we'll stick some 87 in it. Not to mention, it likely showed up with a tank of 87, so adding like 3 gallons of 93 is not going to make any difference. As that fills up, I'm going to grab our time-lapse GoPro out of the trunk. We'll give that to our time-lapse specialist here. No little handle to shut the trunk or anything, so you do have to touch the paint. Thank you. 2.5 gallons, $8 going in. I guess I probably didn't really need to put fuel, but this only has just over a 12-gallon tank, and I do want to make it there and hopefully most of the way back without having to refuel. So.
That was stinky.
Quite. That was a Mustang. It was that Mustang.
I remember.
6 cylinders of fury in that thing. I'm gonna go ahead and reset our trip so we can track our fuel economy. All right, this is trip A. We're gonna hold this to reset. All right, 351 miles of range indicated. I suspect that'll go up as our MPG improves. Nav is set to Raising Cane's. I think this will be an okay manual to drive if we do hit any traffic. Was hoping to hit the road around 11, but in our true fashion, whether it's a commute or a road trip, we are running slightly late, which I didn't used to be this way, but now like the whole filming aspect of stuff, it adds time, but in my brain it doesn't like compute that I have to add half an hour to film sometimes. So, oh, we have auto stop start. Can disable that by pushing the little switch below the drive mode button. How are you doing this morning?
So sleepy.
Somebody said we're the real life Bob and Linda.
I think so.
What was the context of that?
I said something about should we go to Applebee's instead, and you said, oh my god.
Oh my god.
And that's before we were even watching that show.
We embodied Bob and Linda before we even knew we did. With this having the new Google system, it communicates with the gauge cluster and projects your navigation to the right-hand gauge pod. So you can see on the screen and on the cluster that we are merging onto the highway here in 0.2 of a mile. All right, this is the one time I'm going to use sport mode, probably in the whole video, but may as well merge with some fury. Test out this front Helical limited slip. I love the front end on this car. Yeah, good call holding drinks.
Those drinks love to go flying when you do this.
They do. See those shift lights coming up? It's not slow. It's really not.
I love merging at highway speeds.
Merging at highway speeds is so underrated.
Yeah.
back into normal. Average MPG 14.9. All right, it's only up from here. Let's set the cruise control, which is I think the only thing I haven't told you guys about that's new also for 2025, but you probably already know this because there's a million videos on this car on my channel, on the Topher's channel, on everybody else's channel. But we'll go ahead and actually our cruise control was already activated, but we'll go ahead and we'll set it here. Basically what Honda has done for 2025 is they've gone through and they've retuned every aspect of this driver assistance system. So the lane keeping assist, the adaptive cruise, all of it has been adjusted to feel more natural. It should make the car feel less nervous. And we saw a little bit of that with the MDX Type S that we took down to Nashville, but I wasn't super satisfied with it overall. We also have a blind spot warning system in this car, so lots of good driver assistance tech here for the $30,000 price point. The other big concern here is definitely going to be road noise. It's a little noisy, but we'll be able to crank up this 12-speaker Bose and listen to some Chase Atlantic. Okay, really, really heavy on those brakes. I'm going to ditch the cruise control here for a little bit until we're on a more open section of road. That was the thing with these, and that's what I always get reminded of when I drive one of these Hondas on the highway, is they're very, very eager to be on the brakes, and you do often feel like you're holding up traffic. So while the steering assist and everything is more dialed in, I still think the car just gets on the brakes a little bit early. Other than the driver aids in this car, as far as comfort goes, we have fixed dampers. This doesn't have adaptive like we have in the Civic Type R, and they're tuned pretty nicely. Of course, they're a little bit firm because this is a sports sedan or sport compact car at the end of the day, so it does have to be a bit sporty. It's got to be able to take corners like we saw back on that entrance ramp, but it isn't a crashy ride. It's pretty forgiving over some of these expansion joints. We have enough sidewall, and it's not so stiff that it's rattling our teeth out. So we'll see how the ride kind of works with these seats over the next 4 hours and see how this thing holds up. We're already up to 27.3 mpg. That'll just continue to go. And we're going to be leveling this car up to 1,000 miles today. It's got 855 miles on it. Okay, well, I think that's probably going to do it for our initial impressions here on the Civic Si. We'll get back to you all once we've sat in this for another hour and a half or so, once we're prepared to get our Raising Canes, and we'll give you some more in-depth impressions on what it's like to sit in this 2025 Honda Civic Si. Michigan City, where apparently they use Trackhawks as their police cars. You were asleep, but we drove by. There's a speed check popped up just like this, and there was a black Jeep Trackhawk with police lights.
Oh my God.
I swear to God, I wish I would have gotten it on some sort of camera, but I've never seen that, so I don't know if it's a car that they like captured or something, but that was a first for me to see that. Anyways, an update on our trip so far. Bit of an MPG check, 36.8 over the last 191 miles. We've been sitting in this car now for just about 2.5 hours. Average speed has been 75, 2 hours and 32 minutes elapsed time. And well, I don't really have too much bad to say. The only things I'll say is that I wish the seat had some lumbar adjustment, because I have had to kind of sit up a couple of times and adjust. And also the ride is a little bit bouncy.
It's really bouncy.
It's not crashy bouncy, but it's a little bit like unsettly bouncy. There was also a slight vibration around like 77, 78 miles an hour, which this road surface is so terrible right now, I can't tell if it's worked itself out or not, but probably just a tire slightly out of balance. And I'm really upset with myself because I missed us leveling up to 1,000 miles. We're at 1,042 miles. I looked down and it was at like 1,004 or something, and I was like, dang it, I wanted to get the 999 to 1,000, but oh well. But we're gonna pull off here in 5 minutes and grab some Raising Canes. We'll run this through the drive-thru. Emily's probably gonna bail because she has to pee, so I will give our drive-through review. Ergonomically, though, the car's been fine. I mean, seating position's good, visibility's good. As far as places to put things, the Civic Si doesn't get a wireless charger, which is a bit of a bummer with this having wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, because when you set your phone down here, usually you want it to charge, given that CarPlay drains, or wireless CarPlay drains the battery like crazy. So would like to see a wireless charger implemented into here, but there is at least a place that fits, I would say, 2 phones down here in front of the shifter. Elbow comfiness is okay, but the problem with this is it's kind of similar, it's going to sound funny, but similar situation to the GMC Hummer, where the actual elbow padding is fine, but the material that they've put over top of it is not the most comfortable, and they've kind of just put like a scratchy cloth over the top of this, similar to what you find on the seats, and it's not my favorite. And then the center console is a bit far back, so, but I'm okay. Honestly, I'm making this sound worse than it is. I'm comfortable in this car. I wouldn't really expect anything else out of a $30,000 little medium hot compact. I think it's doing just fine. Good enough for Emily to fall asleep for like an hour already, so I mean, that should tell you everything you need to know.
I'm just a sleepy cow.
She can't fall asleep in many places, so should at least speak volumes for the seat.
Yes.
The seats are great.
It's fine.
I just wish they had lumbar.
Yeah.
They're like a really nice supportive seat.
Yes. I need to put my shoes back.
Welcome to Michigan City, which is not in Michigan.
Could you get me an extra piece of Texas toast, please?
Instead of coleslaw?
Oh, I don't eat the coleslaw. Do you eat the coleslaw?
Yes.
Well, then just get an a la carte.
A la carte.
Extra piece of Texas toast, please, because I have to pee.
Okay, I'm gonna drop you here in a second.
All right.
Okay,
Goodbye.
good luck.
Thank you.
Backup camera quality. Obviously, it's into the sun right now. We can see this van that's about to crash into us. Steering weight's a little heavy, but maneuverability's good just because the steering is so quick.
Thank you for switching lanes and taking pains. What can I get for you today?
Hello, can I please do 1 box combo with a sweet tea to drink?
Box combo with the sweet tea.
Yep. And then
Anything else?
Yep, and then 1 extra Texas toast, please.
Alright, and extra toast.
Yep.
Anything else for you today?
That'll be it.
Alright, would you like any hot sauce or ketchup?
I will do ketchup, please. Yes.
Alright. Your box combo with a sweet tea and a toast on the side costs $22.06 at the second window.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't have to tell you guys maneuverability. Though Madonna is in front of me. Check that out. Obviously, it's a Civic. It's plenty maneuverable. Absolutely no problem here whatsoever. We do have a brake hold as well. So you can put that on. That helps. I would say even more so in a manual car, because you can sit here in neutral and you're not going to go anywhere. Not going to roll back. While we're stopped here, I wanted to just discuss this whole layout here because I forgot to earlier in the intro and couldn't really show you while we were driving. But Emily has her 2 cups here with her, obviously, as she always does. And this one's a little bit in the way when you're changing gear. Obviously, this is a huge cup, and I think they make an effort to mitigate this in making these cup holders so deep. You can see with this regular sized cup, it actually fits down in the cup holder, and my arm normally would be able to glide over top of that and I wouldn't bump into it. But with a big cup like this, it does not quite make the cut, and I don't think actually it fits in the door panel. Yeah, it's a little bit big for the door panel, so this is your only spot to fit a big cup like this. Oh, here she comes.
Hi.
Hi.
I grabbed forks while I was in.
Oh, cool. Usually give forks, but
Yeah, well, I
not a
just
bad
grabbed
idea
some
to
anyway.
have some extras. Hello.
Chris?
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. We're on a really good streak of nobody comments on the camera, which is it's so funny because like
Yeah.
you would think that people would see the camera and they would be like, what are you doing? But I feel like drive-through people like see some crazy stuff,
Sure
you know, so like they probably
Yeah.
just don't even have the energy to comment on it.
Yeah, right. Oh, we can sit in the Meyer
Yeah,
parking
that's
lot.
what we're gonna
So
do,
exciting.
because this parking lot's full.
I love a Meyer parking lot.
So we're gonna go to Meyer. Nothing more Midwestern than getting fast food and then going to eat it in the Meyer parking lot.
True.
We claim that as the Midwest. Guy just flying across the parking spaces. Love to see that. And I'm going to shut the car off. It's beautiful. We're going to roll the windows down. But MPG check still 36.8 with highway, with getting off, with sitting in the drive-thru. So shut this thing off here.
Thanks.
Before I shut the camera off, the audience is going to be extremely disappointed if you don't feed me a bite of a chicken tender. I got you an extra toast also.
Yeah, that's that
So
little.
it should be in the bag. Yeah.
I'm
I'm all of a sudden absolutely starving.
in the fork. Would you like
Does
dip?
this have auto?
Would you like dip?
It has auto front windows, but the rear windows are not auto up down.
He's not answering me, so I'm gonna give him dip.
Of course I want dip. It's Cane's. Mmm.
All right, time to eat.
Taking this opportunity as we are stopped here to talk about how good this sun visor is and how it is unironically one of my favorite parts about the Civic. And what I love about this is it extends and covers the entire window, which means no matter where the sun is at, you can block it with this sun visor, which isn't something that you always get in a car in this class. Oh yeah, also we forgot the Easy Pass.
We did forget.
So we're in the credit card lane today. Whee! Say goodbye to our fuel economy. Welcome to Gary, Indiana. I don't know anything about Gary.
Gary, Indiana is the birthplace of the Jackson family. Gary is known for its large steel mills and other related industries.
Could have guessed that one.
That's about all I got.
Okay, well,
That's about all I got for it.
Michael Jackson was born here, and there are factories. That's all we have for you today.
Pretty much.
We are actually revved over 3,000 RPM at 79. And this little thing still manages to get almost 40 mpg. I wasn't really expecting this to exceed the 37 EPA rating just because we have a little bit of a higher rate of speed. If you're not aware, the EPA tests at a much lower speed. Even for their highway rating, they average something like 48 miles per hour or something. It's a very sort of crude, like not super accurate for real world highway driving, which is why Charlie and I used to, we do our fuel economy test, whatever. But I think this car, if you were to drive it at 55, 60, something like that, it would easily achieve 40 miles to the gallon, because since it's able to be only 0.3 off of its EPA rating with an average speed of, 68 now, because we stopped earlier, it was 75. So it's pretty impressive. I'll give it that. Let's take a break from our Chase Atlantic here and play ourselves into the city with a sound system test on this 12-speaker Bose. I wish copyrighted music wasn't a thing, but I think the last SI video we tested the Survive song, so we'll do Restless this time and see how it performs.
Fire, lighting up the pavement.
activities happening.
Yes.
So, we were just saying how excellent this Bose sounds, and for most types of music, I mean, it holds its own in the segment. I always say this and the Mazda 3 Bose are probably the two strongest. So, and I keep that opinion. I mean, they haven't lost any quality with the facelift, not that they would have, but I just think it sounds great. For a $30,000 car, it's kind of hard to complain. 24 minutes to go.
Police reported ahead.
Thank you, Jeeves. Compilation of Jeeves interrupting me. 24 minutes to go 4 miles. Oh man, sweet view of the city right now though. Chicago's just the best. This honestly is perfect as a city car because the sizing is right and then you have just enough torque to be able to shoot gaps. Kind of roll along in third gear, 30 miles an hour. Half throttle. You can just zip around. It's easy. Alrighty guys, well we are just about to pull up to our hotel, so that'll wrap our first half of the road trip here with the 25 Civic Si. We're going to go to our concert tonight. We'll be back with you tomorrow to deliver some final impressions and probably our last Honda Civic video for a while because you can only film so many Honda Civic videos, and this is the third one I've filmed in a matter of like 2 months. So cool. Alright, well we will see you then. Welcome back to the cabin of the 25 Honda Civic Si. Emily's gone out and got us matchas for our drive home, and SatNav is reading out 3 hours and 47 minutes for our return trip, so hopefully that is accurate. The valet brought the car back out, and it sat out front for a couple hours yesterday, and I thought maybe nobody here knows how to drive a manual, but it left last night and it showed back up this morning. We're gonna start driving back and probably just kind of give you guys some final impressions once we're towards the end, but just wanted to check back in this morning.
Who is that? Oh my
Big
word,
floof.
so beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
And you can see. Oh, he's so cute.
Taste of the city.
Oh, he's helping. Oh, he's helping.
Okay, well as we pull on to Lakeshore Drive here, we'll check out with you guys and we'll check back in with some final thoughts on what it's been like to road trip the new Civic Si for 500 miles total. Freedom onto Lakeshore. Whee! Just crossed over that 500 mile mark here in the Civic Si, and Emily and I thought we would give you a bit of a summary on what we like, what we don't like, and then some final thoughts on the 25 Civic Si. So I want to start out with just kind of the overall easy to use interface of everything in this car. This is a car that's very easy to drive long distances in because you don't get frustrated with any of the tech as far as the infotainment goes, the climate control. This new Google system is fantastic. It reacts quickly. It never drops CarPlay. We've had no issues running that. Climate control is very easy to adjust. Otherwise, it's very efficient. I mean, we've done 500 miles. It's averaged 36.1 mpg over those last 504 miles, and that was with what I suspect was quite a bit of idling from the valet, because when I valeted the car, it was up like 36.5. I got it back this morning, it was like 35.5. On the way back, it's gone up to about 36. Interior ergonomics have been nice. The seat is supportive. I wish it had lumbar. We said that in the beginning. Don't really have anything else to add with this driver's seat. Driver's compartment has been fine. I haven't felt cramped in this car. Headroom's been okay. The Bose sound system is great. Okay, let's get to things I don't like about this car. And unfortunately, it all has to do with this driver assist system, which works fine if there's nobody else around you. But the second the car sees another vehicle, it really enjoys more than anything hitting its brakes. It's kind of this car's favorite thing to do, is to ride the brake pedal. And I don't like that because I feel like I'm holding up traffic, and it's also just very unnecessary. I think that's really kind of the only thing that I have bad to say about this car as far as road tripping it's gone. I mean, it's a $30,000 subcompact car that kind of leans towards the performance side of things, so you wouldn't expect this to ride and behave like a BMW 7 Series or even a Honda Accord. I think for a Honda Civic, it does the job just fine. I don't really desire anything else. I think the 3.0 version of this lane keep assist and adaptive cruise everything, maybe Honda will get that dialed in just a little bit better, but as for now, I don't think it's fully there yet. They could definitely do a little bit more tuning with that. But I think the overall mission of this car, I think it's completed really well because Honda never overdoes it. The Type R, it's pushing it, but I think the Civic Si is just a really good middle ground. It's a really, really nice daily driver, and the Topher and I have been saying this since the 11th gen car came out in 2022 or 3 or whenever it was, about how Honda just nailed this daily driver formula and how this car, it does everything you need it to do and nothing that you don't need it to do. And having those subtle performance gains, the helical front limited slip diff, the 200 horsepower, which has plenty of torque in 6th gear on the highway for you to make your passes. You can see you can breathe on that throttle. You can accelerate just fine. And also just the overall refinement of this interior. Nothing rattles in here, nothing creaks. Some of the piano black along the dash isn't too great, and it already has some fingerprints on it from us. It's just a nice place to be. And then the 2025 updates are nice. The cluster, the heated seats, the new infotainment, all of it is just, it comes together really nicely. But this is a nice kind of refined and grown up sport compact car. I would still get it in red though. I'd skip the urban gray.
Maturing is realizing that Honda. You can't say that.
I'll just leave that word out and they'll know exactly what you said. Yeah, no, I'm glad you said that. It's a very mature package at this point. I mean, Hondas are never about being showy and being this car would never pop and burble from the factory. Honda's just not about that. It's just they want to just get it done, get the business done in an orderly fashion, while getting 36 miles to the gallon.
I think there is a brief period of time growing up where you're like, Honda Civics aren't cool, and then you hit that point where you're like, wait, the Honda Civic is the coolest.
Honda Civics are very cool when you're 16.
Yeah.
And then they become uncool from 17 to 25.
Yeah.
And then you realize how good the Honda Civic is. And yeah, we're seeing that today. I said this in my other 2 videos. I think this 2025, the facelifted 11th gen, is going to be peak Civic, because I don't know that the next generation car is going to drive as well as this. I don't know that the enthusiast DNA will be there, and I have hope that it will, because Honda does care about enthusiasts. That's why they still offer the 6-speed manual and everything in the Civic Si, but I guess we'll see. Shouldn't be negative about it. Maybe they'll pull out something really nice, but as for now, this thing's fantastic, and we'd recommend you take a road trip in one. Maybe just bring a lumbar pillow and do a lot of, which Emily has done, and do a lot of the cruising yourself. The adaptive cruise, the lane keep, but I've said it a million times. So I think that'll wrap it up for us. If you guys have any questions about this new Civic Si, make sure you leave those in the comments. But my goodness, we've got 3 videos on this car. I think we have covered everything 3 times over. So that'll do it for us today. Again, thank you guys all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.